Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Pieces of Lily. I am Latoya, and yes, I know it has been a minute since I've hopped on, but I have a lot of good information to share with you about my baby girl Aaliyah and just how great her third grade school year actually went.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understanding.
So last summer, we stopped doing ABA therapy for a variety of reasons. Her ABA team was leaving the company, and things were changing with them, and we particularly loved her ABA therapist and her behavior technician because they were just phenomenal, a phenomenal duo and team, and like really helped Aaliyah become her best little self. So we left for that and for a few other reasons and decided to just take all the things that we've learned over the years in behavior therapy and implement them ourselves as her family and go through third grade and see how it went. That was kind of a nerve-wracking decision because I don't know how it is where you live, but in the state of Tennessee, the third grade is the year that they decide or feel like they're getting a good idea of how a student will do over time academically based off of third grade, and we take a test called TCAP in the third grade that really there's a lot of pressure added on to both teachers, students, and families to make sure that the children pass it and do really well. So it was kind of a risky decision to stop doing behavior therapy in this school year, but I knew that we were going to be able to continue doing all the things that we had already learned to do with Aaliyah. So that's what we did. Fortunately, Aaliyah had like the best teacher ever. I mean, this woman pretty much said when I first met her, she's like, I knew in the third grade that I wanted to be a third grade teacher. Like, third grade's the best. I love it. You know, all this stuff. She's just so special. Just so special in so many ways, from being able to meet a child where they're at, and being able to meet all of the children where they're at, being able to be gentle and kind with them, collaborating with parents, just really an exemplary educator. And it showed big because Aaliyah passed the third grade for one. She passed it. And then in addition to that, she passed her TCAP test. And on the TCAP test, we learned that she is at grade level for her reading, which is phenomenal because going into third grade, she was on her first grade reading level, and now she's on a third grade. So all of that is due to not only, you know, what we did in the home setting, but also what her teacher did. Now, I will say we still have an IEP for Aaliyah, and there's a lot of little accommodations that Aaliyah is blessed to be able to have. Some of those accommodations include tests being read to her, because I don't know how many of you all have third graders, but once you get to third grade, you are no longer learning to read, you're reading to learn. And so the mindset's different. And so there's that added pressure for her to not only read the test, but then answer the questions that, you know what I mean? Instead of just learning how to read the words. We took that weight off of her, or they took that weight off of her, and made it where she just had to focus on creating the correct answers, writing the correct answers down. And she was able to do that pretty well. I'm pretty proud of her. Now, I will say, because there was such a big focus on reading, math kind of suffered a little bit this year. But that is something that we're going to work on throughout the summer. In third grade, where we live, they're doing multiplication, division, fractions. Like, it's just crazy. I don't remember doing all that in the third grade. I remember a little in the fourth grade, but like all of that in the third grade, you know what I mean? And like memorizing your times tables, that's okay, that's fair. But like fractions and stuff, come on. So, math was a little more challenging, but she passed everything, and she didn't just, pass with a D. She passed, so grateful for that. But definitely there's some room for improvement that we can work on throughout the summer. So third grade was pretty good. We definitely had to focus on working through our emotions and our feelings and our frustration, remembering to breathe, remembering to count, to take a walk, to ask for a break, always ask for help. Asking for help was a struggle in the beginning. Now she asks for help, or she asks for a break and stuff like that. So that's great. She has an accommodation on her IEP where she's supposed to get extra time on tests and homework and things like that. She did not have to use that accommodation at all this year. So that was really encouraging. And she just thrived, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But I think a lot of it has to do with the foundation we already had in place with her being in behavior therapy for so long, for so many years. And then in addition to that, her amazing teacher. And I'm not just, saying she's amazing. She was teacher of the year this year. And I couldn't have asked for a better teacher for my girls. Both my girls were in her class. So I'm just so grateful. I feel like their learning just increased phenomenally in year 3. So and now Aaliyah's reading for fun, so that is huge. Reading, that even saying let's read a book would like literally bring on the waterworks. And now it's like, mommy, can we go buy books? Can we go get new books? And actually we just got a new bookcase for all these new books that she's been wanting. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm looking forward to 4th grade. What I hear, 4th grade, you don't necessarily learn a lot of new stuff. Don't get me wrong, you learn, but it's more of like a situation where you're going back over the things that you've learned thus far. Actually, I was speaking to another parent who has children literally in elementary, middle, and high, and she said that that's how she feels it is throughout all of the years, is that the odd years they're learning a lot of new information, a lot of new content, but the even years they're reviewing what they've learned thus far. So hopefully that's true. That would be great. For Aaliyah, I think that if that is true, it's going to be a very boring year for her sister Amaya, but I think it'll be a great year for Aaliyah to just kind of go back over the things that maybe she kind of got or maybe kind of didn't get and needs more help with. So I'm looking forward to 4th grade. So that is the latest and the greatest, guys. If you like the content that I'm offering to you, please make sure that you hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. We'll see you soon. Bye.